Well, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Michelle Easton, president of the Clare Booth Luce Policy Institute. And I want to thank you for joining us and welcome you to October Conservative Women's Network. Special thanks to our partner, the Heritage Foundation, Becky Norton Dunlop. We've been putting this on for years, and it's such a pleasure to work with such a fine organization as the Heritage Foundation. Now, I am so happy today to introduce today's speaker, Kate Obenshain. I know you've all seen Kate on Fox News, where she's a passionate, articulate defender of conservative values. She's also been one of the Luce Policy Institute's most popular campus speakers for many years, and she's been speaking and mentoring young women that we work with for decades. And she's helped me out so many times at the Luce Institute, helped the Luce Institute out so many times too, and I'm very grateful to you, Kate, for that. She's also been in almost all of our great American conservative women calendars, and our 2013 calendar's out. We did a little differently this year with not only beautiful women, but beautiful scenes of America. And here's Kate from March of 2013, and the quote on her page from Clare Booth Luce: "Courage is the ladder on which all other virtues mount." That was Clare Booth Luce, and other great ladies have spoken about courage as well. Kate, we love having you in our calendar. Now, Kate today is going to be talking about how, despite lofty claims of unity, the left is really dividing America with their radical policies. Kate's not just a regular guest on Fox News, but on many other TV stations as well. I saw her on Larry Kudlow just earlier this week on CNBC. She appears on many radio shows. She speaks all over the country. And at the Clare Booth Luce Policy Institute, we're especially honored to have Kate as a member of our board of directors. Kate came out of the University of Virginia, where she wrote for the conservative paper there, and she was a student leader organizing campus events and one giant statewide event, right? She came to Young America's Foundation right out of college, and she took a lecture program, which was small, and made it into the biggest, best lecture program in the country. Then she left YAF for some other important things, and then she came back and served as the vice president for a number of years until quite recently. Kate was also the chairman of the Virginia Republican Party from 2003 to 2006. And in that capacity, she garnered national attention when she led the charge against tax increases and expanding the role of government. The Virginia Republican Party had been going through some pretty rough times about then. It was a scandal that one of the leaders had done some, yes, before Kate, unauthorized taping, but she straightened it out and set the party for smooth sailing. She then served as Senator George Allen's chief of staff, and while she was working for Governor Allen as his chief education and health advisor. That's when she recommended me for the Virginia State Board of Education, and he appointed me to that. And she also got to work with Becky Norton Dunlop at that point, because Becky was serving in the cabinet of George Allen as well. So we got to work with Kate on state level issues as well. Now, Kate is the author of a new book, right there, called Divider in Chief: The Fraud of Hope and Change. And we're selling the book outside, and she'll be signing copies for you if you like after she speaks. Kate was born into a family of conservative leaders and activists in Virginia. She's a graduate of UVA, as I said. She resides in Winchester with 4 extraordinarily wonderful children, especially her youngest daughter, who is one of the most gracious young ladies I've ever seen. I want her for myself, but I get to visit with her every now and then. But a wonderful activist for our cause. Please join me in welcoming Kate Obenshain.
Thank you all so much. It is wonderful to be here. Okay, if we're going to talk about courage, then I just have to point you to these 2 ladies sitting here with me. What a joy it was to get to know Becky Norton Dunlop when I worked in the Allen administration during a real revolution. It was a great restoration of our conservative ideals. Virginia had been going through a difficult time, and George Allen came in and just championed the great reforms of abolishing parole, implementing academic standards, reforming welfare so that this crazy thing where you have to work for your welfare benefits, which now, of course, is completely watered down. But Becky was part of the revolution, and I will tell you, as Secretary of Health and Human Resources, there was no issue that she was unwilling to tackle, and that is a tough area for conservatives. She was out there on the front lines during the entire administration, and she was an inspiration for me and for a lot of other conservatives, but particularly for conservative women. And I just want to thank Becky for her noble service to the Commonwealth and also to the country. Thank you. Michelle, I have known for years and years and years since I started at Young America's Foundation as a wee one, just having graduated from the University of Virginia. And she is someone who has managed to combine career and family in the most professional and noble manner. She has these 3 incredible young men as her sons, and she has always put her family first, her husband and her boys, but she also puts the cause of freedom first. And you know, that is something when I talk to groups of young women, I really want to impress upon you how important that is. I chose originally to stay home with my children, but to still be involved. I was still on the State Council of Higher Education, but my goal was to raise my children. And then I got this crazy phone call when I had 4 children under 5. Okay, so 4 little people under 5 and under. They were 5 and under, as my mother points out frequently. My little girl, I had 3 boys and this precious little baby girl, and I was so happy. Life was exactly like it was supposed to be. And I got this very irritating phone call from George Allen saying, Kate, we need you. We need you to run for state party chairman in Virginia. I was like, no, that's not happening. I am a very busy woman, and I'm happy the way it is. And of course, you know, George Allen, you can't say no probably more than once because he doesn't give up, because he fights for what he believes in. And so finally I said, fine, okay. And so I ran for party chairman, won, and spent the next 3 years traipsing all over Virginia fighting for conservative ideas. And the thing I want to impress upon you is, as hard as that was, as a mom of young children, I would not change it, because it is so important for us to get engaged in the battle. If we don't, nobody else will, and we are passionate about conservatism. We have a unique degree of passion because we are moms, so many of us. Even if you're not moms, you're passionate. But we are passionate because we want to pass liberty on, not only intact, but maybe even expanded. Pass that on to our children and our children's children. So even if you embrace that more traditional role and are looking forward to that, please do not think that you can get out of activism and out of being involved. We need you in this battle from here on out. It's too important. What we're standing up for is too important. So I want to thank the Clare Boothe Luce Policy Institute. One of my favorite things is to travel around the country talking on college campuses, because college students are on the front lines of the battle, and it is so important what you all do, standing up for young conservatism, giving them the courage that they need. I did just write this new book that Michelle held up, The Divider in Chief, The Fraud of Hope and Change. And I did it because, let's see, I was talking to Catherine Lopez, the National Review online. I did an interview with her not too long ago, and she said, Kate, why did you write this? Is it meant to be an awakening, something like that? And I said, you bet it is. It stuns me that around half of the American population completely fell for this empty mantra of hope and change. The Obama administration was going to be that transcendent administration that brought us all together. That is why Barack Obama earned the White House, because he said he was going to be the great uniter. Remember that beautiful inaugural address, and it was glorious, where he said to conservatives, I want to listen to you, especially when we disagree. Okay, nice, beautiful, beautiful idea. And he was going to meet with conservatives in Congress once a week. That was a great idea, too. He met two times. So 3 days after that beautiful speech, the conservatives in Congress came to the White House and they had a meeting, and Eric Cantor, a congressman from Virginia, articulated the conservative perspective on increasing taxes, that we shouldn't do that. And you know what Obama said, 3 days after, I want to listen to you, especially when we disagree? He said, Eric, I won, you lost, I trump you on that. Then about a week later, he said, I want the folks who got us into this mess to do a whole lot less talking and a lot more listening. You can talk a little bit, but I want you really to stay on the sidelines while we try to clean this up for you.